Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Welcome to the last and final live session. Just let me know if my screen is also visible. I'm trying to share a screen. Is it visible? Hello. Yes. Just let me know. I'm trying to share a screen if that is visible or not. Okay. All right. So today the main session is, of course, as I said in the morning, that there are a lot of doubts which you were asking me. Okay, so yeah, ignore that. If it is not visible, fine. So yes, I think I have already cleared most of the things in the morning. How many of you attended the morning session? How many of you attended the morning session, and how well are you all prepared? How well are you all prepared? Have you all done your revision? Okay, so yes, that's fine. Now the the few things, it's okay if it is not visible, it's fine. I'm just telling you all the few things that you all need to keep in mind tomorrow for tomorrow's exam is, for Julius Caesar, I think I already told you that act 3 scene 1, act 3 scene 1 and scene 2 both are very important. Now in scene 2, one of the speeches was already given. Okay, one of the speeches was already given last time, the famous speech, Friends, Romans, Countrymen. That is already done, but that doesn't mean that scene 2 will not come. Scene 2 will come. It has high chances of coming because it is one of the most dramatic scenes. That is the scene where, the course of the play gets takes a different direction. So therefore scene 2 is very important. Okay, now in scene 1, also all the soliloquies are important. The scene 1, the most important soliloquy is where Antony makes a prophecy over the dead body of Caesar. So what does he say? That over this dead body I am making a prophecy that a domestic fury and civil war will happen in all places of Italy. And also he predicts a lot of things, right? That uh, violence will be so common that mothers will smile to see that their children's getting quartered in the hands of war. There would be so many dead bodies that nobody would be there to even bury the dead bodies, and there's going to be a rotten smell everywhere. And Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge with goddess 8 by his side, will be crying havoc and let slip the dogs of war. This is one of the most important speeches in scene 1. So prepare the speech nicely and go. Yes, I know they are important because, as I said, the main soliloquies are always very important in the drama. And the main soliloquy, this is one of the main soliloquy, because whatever Antony predicts, that happens in the course of the drama. Goddess of fate is the goddess of hell, goddess of revenge. Welcome all of you once again to the next live session, the last and final live session. And I'm sure all of you have done with your revision. So yes, if you have any doubts, you all can ask me. I will quickly take you over the important things. Yes, Caesar's ghost unleashing dogs of war. Correct. Dogs of war are the consequences of war. Famine, and violence, confusion. These are the dogs of war. Act 5, Scene 1, where Cassius, yes, as you're asking me about Act 5, the last speech of Mark Antony pays a tribute, when he pays a tribute to Brutus, that this was the noblest Roman of all, because all the elements in him are so beautifully blended that nature would stand up and say that he's a true man. So that speech is very important, right? Also, Messila's reaction to Cassius's death. What does Messala say? No, citizens are not that important. You can just give a common response of the citizens. If citizens, you may be asked that what was the reaction of the citizens, then in a general way you can write. Okay, so that way, yes. And also that first speech of where Cassius tells, Act 5, Scene 1, that, he has become very pessimistic. He started fearing death, where he tells that, I never believed in omens, and I always thought that, Epicurean philosophy, where he mentions about the Epicurean philosophy, and he suddenly saw ravens, crows, and kites, and they are forming a shadow of death. So that speech is important about Cassius. Havoc over here means confusion, destruction everywhere. So when he said havoc means this is going to be the condition of Rome. There will be disorder, chaos, confusion everywhere. That is the meaning of the word havoc. As I said, if you want to skip any story, you can skip with your risk the last year's lessons. That's all. Beyond that, nothing I can tell to skip. Yes, those who are watching the video, please do give a thumbs up. And I'm really glad that many of you have joined again and all of you are looking forward. So this is what I have to say to all of you today, that yes, if you want to skip morning only, I said, only skip the lessons and poems which has already come last year. Rest, what all is there to skip? Speaker is not a ghost. Speaker is not a ghost. And the present occupant of the house is not mentioned here. It is not mentioned in the poem. It is not going to come. So don't unnecessarily confuse yourself. Don't unnecessarily confuse yourself. Only study what is important. Protagonist is Bhishma Lochan Sharma because he is the main person in the poem. And if you say antagonist over here, there is no so-called antagonist, because antagonist is opposite. You can say the billy goat. Protagonist is Bhishma. He's the main character. Speaker is not a ghost. I'm repeating. Nowhere it is mentioned speaker is a ghost. Speaker has an ability to see things about the past as well as the present, whereas the stranger can only see what is there. But he has an ability to see the past as well as the present. Okay, now important scenes of Julius Caesar. Important scenes of Julius Caesar, I am repeating. Antagonist, as I said, is the billy goat. Who else can be? There are only two characters in the poem. One is Bhishma and one is the billy goat. So that way, great trees fall can come. Yes, it has high chances of coming. Act 1, Act 3, Scene 1, Scene 2, very important. Right? Act 4, Scene 1, again important, where the second triumvirate is sitting and discussing the proscription and the black sentence, whose property will be confiscated. Those who are directly connected to the conspiracy, that is important. Who grants the world the golden gift of silence? Finally, who grants it? Obviously, the billy goat helped, because the billy goat punished Bhishma, and that is the reason everybody was granted. So, in one way, the billy goat granted. He made it possible. Oxymoron is a figure of speech where you have two ideas, two uh, opposing words placed side by side, like considerable spec. When you say considerable, means a significant amount, quantity, and spec is just a small, a dot, just a very small particle. So that way, it is an oxymoron. On one side, you are telling it's considerable, big enough, and on one side, you are telling it's a spec. So that's an oxymoron. Sagacious billy goat, yes, it's a wise billy goat. Okay, so that's all in the Julius Caesar scenes, right? These are the things you have to prepare. Scene Act 3, Scene 1, Scene 2, Act 4, Scene 1, and Act 5, Scene 1, and also the last scene. Cassius's this thing, suicide is also very important, where Messala tells that what is like, how does he react to Cassius's death? What does he say? He tells that it's due to error, hateful error. Okay, due to hateful error, and it is born out of melancholy. When a person is melancholic, when a person is sad, there are doubts in that person's mind. So that way, it gives rise to an error, and it also kills the mother who has given birth. Therefore, it's a very sad death. Speck is a speck of dust, and mite is the creature, a very, very small creature. A mite is an insect, a very small, minute insect. Speck is just a dot, it can be a speck of dust. Tomorrow morning, sorry, there is no session. This is the last session, and I think you should only concentrate on your textbook tomorrow morning, night, whatever time you have, remaining time you have in your hand. You just have to concentrate on that. Okay, so that's yes. Now we come to the important questions from photographer. Photographer, what are the important questions? As you know that do you think the photographer was professional or unprofessional? All right. And also like, what was the reaction of the man? What was the reaction of the narrator who comes, and what kind of an experience he had? So that is something that you have to prepare. How everybody dies in JC? Yes, Brutus and Cassius, they commit suicide. Now Brutus, though he condemned suicide, what does Brutus talk about taking one's life? Can anyone tell me? What does Brutus say when Cassius asks him that in case if we lose the battle, what will you do? What will you do? Will you take your life, or will you be a prisoner of war? What does he say? So that time he tells that I will never take my own life, because uh, I condemned Cato for that, for taking his own life. And also at the same time, I cannot be the prisoner of war. But then later on, when there is no other option left, when he tells that enemy has already pushed us to the grave and there is nothing more left, so obviously he commits suicide. Cassius's suicide was more of, you can say, that due to a misjudgment, a misinterpretation. Yes. Stoic philosophy, very good question. Now, Stoic philosophy, what does this mean? Who is a Stoic? A Stoic is a person who is indifferent to pleasure or pain. Yes, he's too proud to be a prisoner. A Stoic is a person who is indifferent to pleasure or pain. And okay, so now here Brutus is also a Stoic. Brutus is also a Stoic. He tries not to this thing. He tries not to react. He tries not to show his sorrow. He tries not to show his personal tragedy. But then he is very tense, and that tension stems from the fact that he was going through a lot of confused emotions, but still he doesn't want to concentrate on that, and therefore he is indeed a stoic. Yes, next question. Yes, how did the quarrel between Brutus and Cassius come to an end? Very good question. The quarrel scene is also quite important. The quarrel scene, it comes to an end. First of all, Cassius becomes very emotional. Cassius tells that I am wronged by my brother. Okay, he misunderstands me, and in case if you think that I have not given you the money, you can take this dagger and pierce it. My heart is dearer than Plutus's mine. There's a lot of love in my heart, and then you can just kill me and take all the wealth all the love from there. When Cassius tells this, Brutus also melts down. And Brutus also tells, my temper is like a flint. It gives out a spark and then it goes off immediately. So in that way, both their quarrel end and both of them, they uh, shake hands and finally they settle down. Mount Olympus, Nervite tribe, whatever is written in the book that Caesar had worn this mantle on the day he had killed the Nervite tribe. That much is important. Yes, Brutus contradicts the Stoic philosophy. Yes, correct. To some extent, he contradicts, because at the end, his suicide is also a contradiction. And also, when he quarrels with Cassius, when he becomes very violent with Cassius, when he talks a lot and he really becomes very rude with Cassius, that is when he contradicts the Stoic philosophy. Important act or scene, I've already told you. Important act is act 3. Act 3 scene 1 and scene 2, and act 4 scene 1. Act 4 scene 3 quarrel scene, and act 5 scene 1. Yes, he doesn't see at the end of the good question, Hemabrita. Okay, that's a good question. That why does he consider himself superior to the living mind? Because he doesn't consider. He thought that he can decide the fate of the. He can decide the fate of the might. Where he tells that the might finally it was lying down in front of me, ready to accept what I am going to decide about its fate. That's how the system works. Human beings obviously are a superior being than the animals, and over here he is trying to say that though the mite is very small, I granted it, I allowed it to live. That's how the word order works. I allowed it to live because the mite is intelligent and he respects the mite. He has reverence for its life. That's which two scenes might come, like that's such a such a random question. uh, I can give you the probable scenes, I can't give you the two exact scenes which will come, and you should also not take such chances. Collectivistic regimenting love means collective. During that time the society believed the society believed in the theory that collective good is better than individual good or individual abilities. But the the poet was not a follower of this theory. Those who are watching, please share your views, your doubts here. Yes, I'm going to try to end the live. I'm not going to keep you late because I want all of you to concentrate in your textbook. Expected questions from Act 4, Scene 1. Act 4, Scene 1, where the triumvirate sits and prepares the proscription, where Antony talks about Lepidus. He's unmeritable. He compares him with his horse. He compares him with a donkey. That part is very important. Most likely to come, as I said, Act 3, Scene 1 and Scene 2, likely to come. Act 4, Scene 1 is also likely to come. Yes, yeah. Julius Caesar, you can ask me the doubts if you have. Somebody is asking me to explain this part. Okay, I'm going to explain. The son of Rome. Yes, I'm going to explain this part. Okay, so Cassius is no more. Now, those who have a doubt with this part, please listen carefully. Where Titinius tells that Cassius is no more, O setting sun, as in thy red rays thou dost sink tonight. Now it is evening time, and the rays of the sun have covered the entire sky. So the sun is about to set, and very soon night will set in. So just like the red rays of the sun have filled the sky, similarly Cassius is also lying in a pool of blood, which is very, it is a beautiful imagery where Cassius's red blood is compared to the red rays of the sun. So just like Cassius's day is over, similarly, today is also the end of the day. And as the day comes to an end, Cassius's life also comes to an end. And he has been called the son of Rome. Now, the son of Rome is metaphorical. Son of Rome is one, obviously, SON, son. He is dead. And also, the sun of Rome is setting today. So, with Cassius's death, it's going to be that Rome, all the glory and all the good things of Rome will also finally come to an end. That's the tribute he pays. Our day is gone. Clouds, dews, and dangers come. Now, when there is evening, when night sets in, when there is darkness, what happens is clouds, all kind of evil things, becomes very powerful. So therefore, with Cassius's death, these things will also become more prominent now. Okay, yes. Act 4, Scene 3. How does the news of Portia's death affect Brutus? Why does he react the way he does? So, Portia's death is, troubles him a lot. He's very anxious. He's very extremely sad, devastated. But as a Stoic, he doesn't show that. All right. And why does he react the way he does? His reaction, as I said, is a reason because of his sorrow, his tragedy. His wife is no more, and that also she died in such an unusual manner. So, this is how it affected Brutus, and that's the reason he's so agitated and he fights with him in such a, that's a verbal fight, almost goes on to the extent of a physical fight. Please share this video with your friends. I will always say share this video as much as you can with your friends, with your peers, in your school group. Yes, please do so. People may have a doubt, and I hope that all the doubts should be cleared today. Octavius in at the end of Act 4, Scene 1. Is Octavius focused on planning or covert operations, or is he more focused on defeating the conspirators? Okay, now see this question what you have asked. As we go by the text, okay, in the text what is written that both of them are planning to discuss and find ways how they can raise an army, how they can be better prepared for the upcoming war. So in that way, this is what he does. That much only you will write. There's nothing um, mentioned about beyond whatever I just said. It is just mentioned that he's preparing for the war and he's going to do that. Portia's death was an unusual death. She swallowed hot, she swallowed fire, and that's how she died. Probable stories and probable poem. I think plenty of times I've said. Still, I'm going to say Power of Music, Haunted Houses, Great Trees Fall. These three prepare nicely. Now, when it comes to stories, uh, apart from Elevator and Last Lesson, prepare everything very nicely. Last four stanzas of Haunted Houses. Morning only I have explained. Listen to that video, no, you will get it. Can Caesar's spirit be symbolic of death? Caesar's spirit is symbolic of the revenge that will be taken. Act 4, Scene 3, yes, it prepares the audience for the tragic ending of the play. In Act 4, Scene 3, we see that both the generals are quarreling. The poet intrudes, and the poet is the voice of the reader. Whatever we are thinking as a reader, what do we see? Two generals are fighting, there is no cooperation. If the generals are fighting like this, of course, we can understand it's a prediction that they are going to lose the battle. Act 4, Scene 3 is important. Yes. Strained relations, friendship between Brutus and Cassius goes through a change. In that way, yes, it is important. It is important, yes. Yes, all the authors, all the poems' names are important. The message of Great Trees Fall is, first of all, great people, great souls, when they die, they impact the entire community. They impact everyone. Small, big creatures, everybody gets impacted. Everybody goes through a sense of loss. They are shocked, they are numb with sorrow. But then, after the period of mourning is over, there is a soothing electric vibration, a new spark of life, and then you realize that life is not going to be the same, but you continue to live, keeping in mind their teachings, their beliefs, what they taught you, and you continue to live with that. You continue with their legacy. They are no longer there, but you continue to live with their legacy. Character sketch of Brutus and Cassius according to Act 4. Okay. In Act 4, first of all, what do we see about Brutus? We see that Brutus and Cassius, they are going through a strained relation. Their friendship, they have a fallout. So their friendship goes through a change. Brutus feels Cassius has wronged him. Cassius feels Brutus has wronged him. Brutus feels that he was denied money. He wanted money to pay his legions. According to him, Cassius has denied that. He cannot raise money by any vile means. He's always been very honest and noble. And in case if he has to extract money from the Sardians, he would rather, change his blood to coins, transform his blood into coins. He's ready to do that, but he cannot take bribes. Cassius feels that when he wrote a letter to ignore and when he favored Lucius Pella, Brutus ignored that letter. As a friend, he should not have ignored. So, this is the reason for their major fallout. And then they quarrel and they fight. It's a very, a very violent verbal argument that they go through. What is the problem in Act 5? In Act 5, we just see the deaths of all the characters. Act 5, Scene 1, we see Cassius is very unhappy. He thinks that, his end is near. It's his birthday. Right. And then finally, we also see that, Brutus makes a very hasty decision. He asks Messala to write, and then he tries to send the written orders. Now, due to his, hasty nature, there are certain things that doesn't happen according to their way they have planned. Cassius misinterprets. He asks Titinius to go. Titinius comes back, but then Pindarus gives him a different information and he doesn't verify. So he kills himself. Titinius also kills himself. This is what happens in Act 5, and there's nothing difficult over here. You have to read. You have to read it. If you leave Act 5, how are you going to answer the this thing? The MCQs. So you can't leave anything. I'm not going to ask you to leave anything. So I repeat very clearly, don't leave anything. I'm only here to help you, to give you, more ideas, doubts, queries, yes. But don't ask me, can I leave this and can I leave that? No, don't leave. The only thing, a high risk that you can take is leave the topics which had come last year. So if anybody is asking me about leaving, I'm not going to answer now. Enfranchisement is freedom, liberty. Chastisement is punishment. What are you asking? I don't know. Chastisement is punishment. Maybe the book just. Keywords means you have to read the lesson multiple times, okay? And then you have to continuously read the lesson at least 2 to 3 times and use the words from the text. That is the keyword. He uses the words honorable men multiple times. He's sarcastic. When he's telling honorable time, he uses the word like a refrain. Again and again, the word honorable men comes back. Why is he telling? Because he wants to make sure that the citizens understand that they are not honorable. That's a strategy that he uses. He's using it as a strategy. Great trees fall. The tone is sad in the beginning and later on it is positive and optimistic. Now, when Brutus, okay, I know a lot of questions are coming up, but then yes, I'm going with the flow. What were the reasons that Brutus tells about Caesar's assassination? So, what does he say? He mainly killed Caesar because he was ambitious. There is joy when he tells the dialogue. When there is joy, tears for his love, joy for his valor, that part. Okay, and there is death for his ambition. Because of his ambition, he killed him. And he also emphasized that now that Caesar is dead, all of you would be living as free men, and if Caesar would have been alive, all of you would be living as bondmen, slaves. That is the reason he gives. Brutus always had a reputation that he was honorable. Brutus was honorable in the eyes of the citizens. So when Antony gives the funeral speech, he is trying to emphasize, and he is mocking and saying that Brutus, an honorable man, was one of the conspirators, so therefore they cannot do wrong. This is emotionally hitting the common people, the citizens. A ballad is a poem which is written, which has a musical note to it. It can be sung and it has a message. Act 3, Scene 1, Scene 2. Haunted House's theme is memory of our loved ones. If you have listened to my videos explanation, you can take running notes from there and write it in your answers. This is how you will frame your answers. Try to read the text, use words from the text. There is no terror, Cassius, in your threat. I am so strong in honesty that they pass by me as the idle wind, which I respect. Yes. Yes. What does he mean over here? That when you are threatening me, when you are showing your anger to me, I am not going to be affected with your anger. I am armed so strong in honesty. I'm an honest person that your threats are just like an idle wind. They're not going to affect me in any way. So I'm only going to take your threats as my mirth and amusement. I'm not going to be scared. Narrator in The Photographer is a man with average features, but he is happy with his average looks. He wants a photograph of his which his friends would keep after his death. He wants a photograph which would be as original as he is, with no, reworking, with no edits. He doesn't want that. A photograph with a lot of changes. So, and also he's quite patient in the beginning. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't get agitated. Even the when the photographer makes him wait, when he comes too close to him, intrudes on his privacy, then also he doesn't get angry. When the photographer tells that, I don't like the features, he says that I have lived with it, and I know that. He accepts it. But then every person has a breaking point. Beyond that, he couldn't take it. When he saw that the photograph uh, had no similarity with the way he looked, that's when he gives him a fitting reply and then he walks out. Yes, Act 3 will come. It will come. Soldiers, voluminous and Brutus, they are fellow soldiers and also old schoolmates. Both are there. Act 3, yes, I'm telling you, Act 3 is going to come. Yes. For a good answer, see, the quality of answer is more important. It's not the lines. You need to use the keywords. You need to maintain good quality vocab. So that's how you get marks. Both it's a combination of everything. Keywords, content, good sentences. It's everything together. Line is, yes, minimum for a 3 marks answer is 50 words, 40 to 50 words. Yes, Act 3 will come. In order to use the keyword, you have to read the textbook and use words from the story. I'm giving you one example of keyword. I hope that will be clear. Now, let's say you are writing about answers from Great Trees Fall. So, what is the keyword over here? Let's do one exercise together. Keywords from Great Trees Fall. The air, when great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Shudder is a keyword. Lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall, small things recoil into silence. Recoil into silence is a keyword. Senses eroded beyond fear is a keyword. Promised walks is a keyword. Dark, cold cave is a keyword. Okay, so these are the keywords, and this is how. A soothing electric vibration is a keyword. We can be better is a keyword. This are the our souls. Now shrink is the keyword. So these are the keywords. For every poem, pick out the words from the poem or the prose, and these are the keywords. Yes, Act 3 will come. Are you all giving a thumbs up to the video? Please do so, so that you know it is reachable. And of course, yes, thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. I think many new people have joined today. I don't know all of you whether are you all watching my video or not, but I can see many people have joined. So yes, please subscribe. If you have entered the live session, please subscribe to the channel and you may check out the videos that I post. Tone of great trees fall. Initially it is despair, sadness, and later on it is positive and optimistic. It ends with an inspirational note. The tone in the beginning is that of sadness and despair. Please give a thumbs up to the video and please share the video with your friends. Yes. If you're new, thank you. Welcome for joining and thank you so much for joining. Please subscribe to the channel if you think this video is giving you value. Any further doubts? Solve the questions. Solve the questions. That's all. How to do, you just go through the questions and solve it. Yes, you can. It may come. Considerable spec already had come last year's last yes, it had come, so I don't think it's going to come. Last minute revision is already uploaded. Is it visible? Can you all see that? Morning and the one which I had done. I hope it is visible. Act 5, please don't leave. Please don't leave Act 5. Thank you so much. Thank you, Aparna, for joining. Thank you for subscribing. So, yes, a lot of videos are already posted. Lot of videos are already posted. Please see that, listen to the explanations. The struggle of instinct that enjoys means we all have two instincts. Two instincts means one side we have the materialistic instinct to enjoy the luxuries of life, and on the other side we have a noble instinct to become a better human being. So, this is the struggle that we go through. Every human being goes through this struggle. This is the struggle of instinct where it's like a jar, a perpetual jar, which is always filled with desires and aspirations. It's a never ending jar, it never becomes empty. Three conditions Brutus to Antony. Number one, speak all good things about Caesar. You have to speak in the same pulpit where I speak, and you cannot blame the conspirators in any way. See, if you have more than one figure of speech, okay, first of all, like I think I already discussed this, for every poem there is a prominent figure of speech. Like for example, in this thing, great trees fall, there is metaphor. So if it is metaphor, you know that more than anything else you have to choose a metaphor for this. Similarly, when you have this thing, power of music, the major figure of speech is hyperbole. So that is how you identify the major figure of speech. Oppressive is somebody who is like a dictator, somebody who makes people suffer. Oppressive, if you call the photographer oppressive, then of course he has made him suffer, the narrator, because he left in tears. Artistic, because he always wants to maintain the standards of beauty. And egoistic, because he was looking at the picture with pride. So that was his ego that was getting satisfied. Go with old schoolmates then, yes. Girl Who Can is women empowerment, gender specific role. Girl Who Can theme is we need to come out of that stereotypical thing about women. Like women are only meant for bearing a child or doing household work. Women have greater role in society. That's the theme. Hateful error, melancholy's child is. Error is hateful, and it is born out of melancholy. When your mind is melancholic, when you are sad, you have doubts in your mind. That's how you commit errors. Okay. All right. I think that's all. Collectivistic right to morning I discussed. It means collective good is better than individual good, but the narrator did not believe that. Most expected chapters for the last time, I'm telling, leave out last year's chapters and do everything else. Martin's father is insensitive. He does not pay attention to what Martin tells him. He does not is not compassionate. When Martin talks to him, does not even look at his face. He judges and assumes Martin is timid and weak, and he needs to be like a man. Again, stereotypical idea of a man, that a man should not cry. He should be like a man, a macho. So that way, he's insensitive. That's his character. Melancholy. Melancholy is, I don't know what you have. Melancholy is depression, sadness. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in, and I wish you all the best. All the best, and I'm sure all your papers are going to be good, and all of you will come out in flying colors. But then, your job today after the session, you all please start reading. Please read the drama at least 3 times before tomorrow's exam, and each and every lesson has to be read minimum 3 times. I repeat, then only you can score good marks. Reading of the lesson is very important. Okay? Treachery. All right, thank you so much. And yes, good night and have a wonderful paper tomorrow. All the best for your exam. Please shower your love and support for the channel. Keep supporting, keep watching, and thank you. Goodbye.